yes, she does, yeah. All the girls that are saying.
Hello, welcome back. His greatest hits album was released on Monday and has already sold over 100,000 copies. He's been playing to packed audiences in Australia and the United States, and no doubt will be doing the same here when the UK leg of his tour starts in Dublin this weekend. Good morning and welcome to Neil Diamond. It's good to see you. I saw you last night on Wogan, singing away, and the audience reaction was amazing, wasn't it?
They're wonderful. They're just great. We were waving and it was fun. It was really...
You looked great when you were singing away, but you seemed, when he was talking to you, you seemed quite shy. I thought you looked quite sort of shy. Was that because it was a live audience and all that sort of stuff? No,
I was just there ready to try and answer anything that was thrown my way. But he's a very nice man, and you know,
That was good. It was very, very good. Do you, I mean, what you were saying last night as well is that you still really, really enjoy touring and you still get a real buzz out of performing. I mean, presumably you don't have to do it. You could quite happily sit back and count your pennies and you don't really have to bother going on the road.
Well, you know, I have an organization. I have people when we travel. I have about 80 people. Their salaries, about 80 people whose salaries need to be paid, and I like doing that. I like getting up in front of people and singing and my songs, and this is what I've worked for my whole life. So
you still look upon that, because some artists look upon touring as it's a necessary thing that they've got to do to sell albums, or it's something that they've actually got to do, but you really enjoy it. You see it as a perk.
I love it, yeah. I do it without any albums at all.
Right.
You know,
what about your son? Is he going to be with you this time?
Jesse will be with us, yes. He's on a sabbatical from music college in the States, and he'll be playing with us through August. Then he goes back to school in September. Brilliant. It's great to have him there.
Yeah, that must be really good. That must be really
except
good.
when the young girls start screaming, it's a little disconcerting.
At him, or you? At both of you?
Not at me, no. They have holding up signs, Jesse, we want Jesse, you know.
But you don't mind that?
No.
No, you don't.
I don't mind it.
And you've never, has it always been music that he's wanted to do, and you've always encouraged him?
It wasn't really always music. We came here to England first. I played, I think it was Festival Hall, Royal Albert Hall, and he was with me. Right. And I didn't want to let him loose while the show was going, so I gave him a shaker. And I put him on the side of the stage, and I said, you stay here until I leave the stage, Jesse, and just shake this thing, and I'll take you off when we leave, which we did. So it was a way for me to keep an eye on him during the shows, and it just stuck. He, you know, he became a wonderful percussionist and then a drummer, and he's now studying guitar, and he's a musician. I'm very proud of him. So I used to keep an eye on him, now he keeps an eye on me.
Does he look after you?
He does.
What age was he when you first sort of...
6.
He was only 6?
Yes.
That's brilliant. Do you have any other children?
Yes, I got bunches of them.
Bunches of them?
I have a 14-year-old. He'll be out with me. My daughter, who's in her early 20s, will be out coming to London for the last part of this tour. My eldest daughter is working in New York, so she won't be able to come out. Right. But I have 4 altogether. Right,
and are they all involved in music? Are they all sort of something to do with entertainment?
Not really. Jesse is. They're all musical. I don't know whether they want to become musicians or not, but they're musical. They love music.
Great. Now you're going to be, as we said, you're in Dublin. Let me just see here. Saturday and Sunday, you're off to Dublin, and then you're at the Sheffield for 3 nights.
Yes.
Then Birmingham for 5 nights, and then Wembley for 8 nights.
Yes.
God, there's not many people that can do all that and fill Wembley Arena for 8 nights. It's absolutely brilliant.
That's.
Do you like the bigger venues though, or do you sometimes prefer the sort of smaller, more intimate theatres?
I think anything under 20,000 is fine. If it gets over 20,000,
does it start to get a bit?
It's a bit.
Out of control?
It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Yeah. Right. There really actually is a kind of a line that I've been able to discern between 20,000 and more, but. You know, whoever comes, we'll try to put on a good show. Absolutely. Shall we see a bit of you in action? Well, if you dare. If we dare, we dare, we do. Here's Neil, and he's singing Sherry, Sherry. There it is.
Baby loves me, yes, yes she does, yeah, yeah. All the girls that are saying, yeah. Said she loves me, yes, yes she does, yeah, yeah. She's gonna show me tonight, yeah, yeah. She got the way to make me tell your mama, girl, I can't stay long. We got things we gotta catch up on, yeah. You got it. Oh, you know what I'm saying. Can't stand still while the music is playing. Come on, kids.
Go for it. Los Angeles Forum. An entourage of 80, Neil. That beats me.
Does it? Doesn't beat me. I've got about 150 retainers.
I've just come in
following
every
me
morning
around.
in this huge vehicle with extra long vehicle written on it.
Yes.
Yeah? And 60 unmarked police cars. That's all I can... 8:44, you're watching TVN. Now, our next guest is never absent from our screens for...
My energy runs out. I don't know about yours. I mean, the thought of embarking on this concert tour that you're embarking on would make me a little nervous, I think, because of the amount of energy you have to burn up. And I just have to go away and recharge my batteries. Otherwise I crack up.
And then if you go away for too long, people say, oh dear, Billie Whitelaw's not getting much work. But the fact is, it's a choice of yours, yeah?
Choice is mine. I'm very lucky. Choice is mine.
Stay with us, because you're flanked by another man of renowned and great energy.
I know.
Who we will
I'm
meet.
lucky this morning. What a way to I can't believe my luck here this morning.
As you said, our next guest was the founder member of one of the most successful bands ever, the Eagles. When they broke up 10 years ago, he went his own way and has enjoyed success with hits like The Heat Is On. Remember that from the soundtrack of the movie Beverly Hills Cop. We saw the video of his new single earlier on, so let's welcome Glen Frey. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I can't believe it's 10 years since you split up. That's incredible.
It's a lot, yeah, it's passed rather quickly.
Certainly has. And you have been just constantly busy all the time.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of different things. You know, it's funny that I'm on the show with Neil today. It's just coincidence, but Neil just bought a house on the Frying Pan River outside Aspen, Colorado, and it's just so happened that this record that I made, and my whole move in life has been from LA to Colorado in the last year and a half, and so we're actually neighbors, and I told him I built a studio, and you know, there's a chance we'll run into each other. But it's funny, both of us having spent so much time in California in the 70s and 80s, and also in Aspen, that we'd have to come to London to meet each other.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
you
Your
know.
neighbours now. Because yeah, you did actually just move up sticks and you've got your own studio there. It must have affected your writing, your songwriting, surely, living in a place like that and working there.
Well, I struggled with leaving Los Angeles, because sometimes you think you need a little bit of tumult to, you know, a little chaos and anxiety to, you know, to write. But I found actually by going to Colorado, I was able to pay more attention to my work. I think I got more work done in a shorter amount of time up there. And plus then I was able to be with my family. Otherwise I'd have just been flying back to LA.
Yeah, that's right, of course, 'cause so you're all together now. Was there ever any chance over the past 10 years that the Eagles would have reformed for, say, you know, an album, not necessarily reformed totally as a band, but maybe just do a one-off album?
Well, rumors abounded about 2 years ago that we might get back together, and I went so far as to speak with Don Henley and get together with him a couple of times, but my conclusion was that you just can't go back. And you know, it was going to be impossible for us to capture the intimacy and the magic and the sort of things that it takes to, you know, to have a group together and have it mean something. And I didn't want to see the Eagles get together without doing new material. I thought that wouldn't be the right thing to do. But as it turns out, we won't be getting back together. But I would never, you know, say that I wouldn't play with the guys for an important show. If it was
Maybe a benefit
the rock
or
and a
something,
benefit,
yeah,
or
kind of thing.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or
Right,
something, you know. I mean,
sure.
I would sure enjoy getting together and rehearsing with the guys for a couple of days, and you know, I feel good about my relationship with them. But as I say, you just couldn't go back, and I was about a year's worth of work where I'd have had to leave my pregnant wife at the time too when we talked about it, and it just didn't seem like the right thing for me. I'm sorry some people didn't get to see the band, but. You know,
got
our
the
music's
records.
still around,
That's
fortunately.
right, absolutely. They've got all the records. And for something, if you did reform a new material, the expectations would be so high. People would be really you know, because how do you top something like Hotel California? That's the thing.
Well, it's, you know, that's a point well taken too. There is a little bit of a downside to getting the band back together, you know, and you know, maybe it just wouldn't be the same, and I'm sure some people would say that. It's interesting to be talking though about this legacy in my musical life, the Eagles. I just want to say, Neil, I recall a night you played at the Troubadour in 1971, and the Troubadour was the a place for hopefuls, and it was the showcase place in Los Angeles. And I remember sitting in the bar. I couldn't afford to get in, and I was also under 21. But I sat out there and I heard Neil's show through the wall, and it was hit after hit after hit. And I remember thinking to myself, God, that guy's had a lot of hit records. Man, I hope I get to have a lot of hit records. That'd be great to be able to go on stage and play songs that everybody knew. And sometimes, you know, your foolish dreams come true.
They
And
certainly
so,
do.
you know, now
Were
I got
you- were you in
a bunch of
Miami?
songs I play on stage, and people know the words too.
right.
It's great.
That's right.
The
So it
world
must be
is
really good that when they all sing along. Were you in Miami Vice? Were you in that?
Yeah.
And did you not write a song or something, and they decided
I
that
wrote
they
a
were
song.
going to build an episode round it? Or something?
Yeah, I wrote a song called Smuggler's Blues, which was sort of a journalistic look at a, you know, big problem. And I actually wrote the song before Miami Vice was on television. I never expected, you know, that kind of series to get on, you know, regular TV in America. But then they heard the song and said, we think there's an episode there. So, and
Did you enjoy the experience of acting?
yeah, very much so. You know, I think it's away from music. By the way, I'm not an actor, I'm a student.
Right.
Billie's an actor, Jack Nicholson's an actor.
Believe me, I'm a student.
You know,
The day I
well, we
die,
never
I
stop
will be
being
a student.
students. We're all students here, I guess. But I've enjoyed it because it's away from music enough that I really appreciate going back to what I do. But at the same time, I'm still around a lot of creative people who are passionate about what they do. So it, you know, it still keeps your creative juices flowing. So it's a nice balance, I think.
Yeah, and you were saying that you'd like to perhaps score a film. That's something that you'd like to do.
Very much.
Working very, very closely, and not just the music as sort of like shoving it in at the end, sort of incidental. But you'd really like to sort of work very closely.
Yeah, I admire
the
people like
director.
John Barry
Yeah.
and Ennio Morricone, and there's a couple names that come to mind. You know, people that do underscoring for films, and I think that would be an interesting, you know, way to work without lyrics a lot of the time, which is nice. Lyrics are tough, music's easy. So, you know, I think it would be fun to just paint with music. Underscoring film would be really on my wish list.
Good
Because
stuff.
all three of you have to get up on stage and the curtain or whatever opens, and how do you cope with, how does a singer particularly cope with the first 5 seconds? Because ordinary people hit the wrong note immediately, straight away, the first note.
Well, it's over quickly, at least. You know, you're past the first note. That's one of the beautiful things about live performing. If you make a mistake or mess up some way, it's over. You're past it and you're on to the next line or the next note. So I never think about it.
But if you're low and you've got a throat infection or something and you're feeling bad,
Well, I
but
should be able to hit the notes. That's what I'm paid
Even
for.
so?
Absolutely.
But I think I saw you sneaking a question during, I think it was a commercial break. Do you admire musicians? They probably admire actors and actresses. Do you admire musicians?
Yes. I mean, I have done a musical, God help me, yes I did. Dudley Moore wrote the music for it. And I was all right while we were in the rehearsal room to a piano, and when we got up and did what was known as a band call, everyone seemed to be playing a different tune, and I said, but what am I supposed to sing? Who can I follow?
It's
and that
difficult.
did shake me a little. But I agree with you, people do forget, and one night when sort of paddle-eyed with this musical actually, and I made out a list, do I go on stage, do I not go on stage? All they can do is shoot me, it's the worst they can do. And I came to the conclusion that by this time tomorrow night, everyone sitting out front will have forgotten. Good, bad or indifferent. If it's good, perhaps an odd moment will be remembered, and I thought, just get on there and do it.
It's a comforting thought, it's just sometimes difficult to hold on to, that's all. Listen, we've got to close our curtain, sadly, but good luck, Billie, with Firm Friends, ITV's Tuesday, and enjoy life in Suffolk.
I will.
One of the great counties.
Absolutely.
And Neil, enjoy your tour.
Thank you
Yeah.
very
Should be
much.
used to it
Off to
by now. You
Dublin
don't want any
at the
training, do you?
Pardon me?
You don't want any training? I mean, you're used to touring now?
Well, I can always use a little training, but I think we'll get through it, mostly with the help of the audience.
Indeed, indeed.
And Glenn, it's good to see you.
Nice to be here. I'll be at Town and Country in a couple weeks.
Great.
Looking forward to playing London. Haven't played here since 1979, so it'll be a lot
Oh,
of fun.
that's too long. You've been away far too
Oh,
long.
Neil's been telling me the audiences are great over here, I believe.
Oh,
He's
my
just here
son
to
goes up to Town and
That's
Country.
good,
You have my
yeah.
son and all his mates up there.
Yep.
He's just here to watch
Good stuff.
Wimbledon. Glenn's a sports nut. You want to watch Wimbledon, don't you? That's what you're here for.
That'd be nice. I don't think I'll have much time, but
Okay.
Right. So tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow our special guests include Roy Castle, bless him, and pop star Mariah Carey. Right now it's time for the weather.